Okay, welcome to the Node.js Community Build Workgroup Meeting, 20th of June, 2017. We have in attendance myself, Michael Dawson, Gibson Fenchuk, Jao Rice, Kyle. What's your last name again, sorry, Kyle? Farling.
Yep.
Kunal Pathak, Michele Capra.
Yep.
And that's it. So that's who we have at present. We're going to go through our standard agenda. We'll do a stand-up just to let people know what's going on. We'll then go through the issues that have been tagged for discussion in the workgroup meeting. There's only one. And then finally, we'll end up with a short time for people to ask questions if there are any for those who are watching. So in terms of stand-up, I can start. I've been working on some Ansible scripts to add ZOS machines to the CI infrastructure, first to be used for running the libuv tests. I reached out to a second Mac provider who had contributed to OpenJDK, so we're going to see if they're willing to contribute to Node.js as well. I have had a bit of back and forth, but it's been about a week or so, so I need to follow up with them. Since our last meeting, we did get Mac Stadium, who has donated some images that we can use to create instances. And myself, Rod, and Johan have started to set that up. We have a number of steps in terms of, it has to be set up so that we can get all the different images, which takes a bit of time. We need to set up a sort of a gateway, which is going to let us cope with having a more limited set of IPs and a few things like that. So we're starting to work through that. I can't remember if it was in the last build workgroup meeting or in discussion with Rod and Johan, but we talked about having a backup for our ARM6 build machines. So I've ordered the Raspberry Pi B Plus and some associated parts, which I should have soon. And I'll look at then setting those up to be a backup to Rod's ARM6 build machine for releases. I talked to Tracy in the foundation about sending out regular tweets thanking our infrastructure donators. We pretty much have an agreement on that, so I should open an issue just saying here's the content of the tweet to get all your guys' agreement. Once we have that, we'll start sending those out. And I also talked to them about a logo text. Setting something up on a logo or text that the infrastructure donors can also use on their websites relating to their donations. So Tracy said she'd talk to the people at the foundation. Haven't heard anything on that front yet. I think Jao was next.
Yes, I added the Shackrecord Nightly support to the Node.js Nightly Builder. So now the Shackrecord Nightlies are only triggered if there are changes in the relevant branches. And I also reviewed the changes for the V8 Canary Nightlies while I was at it. Gibson?
So I had a brief look at the 811 configuration issue, which is interesting because I haven't actually looked through the CI release jobs before. There was the issue we discussed last time about the sponsorship page, having a list like a page of sponsors on the website. So I raised that with some discussion. I guess it needs someone to go ahead and actually create a sample for people to review. And I've been working with some people internally trying to get the AX Ansible script stuff that we've already got into a state that we can contribute it back in. And we've been internally just running through the new Ansible scripts and trying to make sure they all work on some of our machines. That's me. So
okay, that reminds me of one thing just before we move on that I should mention. The AIX machines at OSU, OSL, it turns out that when they installed the machine, it wasn't particularly well set up, so it needs to actually be reinstalled so that the disk I/O will be much more efficient. Unfortunately, what that's going to mean is we're going to have to reinstall our AIX machines that are in the CI. So I have an action. I'll open an issue to kind of document this, but we're going to have to plan for an outage of maybe about a week where those machines will be down. We'll back them up and then restore them all, but just a heads up that's coming.
That's going to be both at the same time, right? Because it's the hardware.
It's basically we have one hardware box that everything is on. So unfortunately, there's no staging of doing one bit by bit.
Do you have any choice in when we do that?
Yes. So I need to get back to them to say when that is. That's sort of the thing on my plate, is to take a look at the schedules and try and figure out what our best time is. So if you have something off the top of your head that says like this is good or this is bad, let me know. And but I'll put, you know,
working around the release. Like
yeah, I'll try and propose something which is not near one of our planned, 6 or 4 releases, and is like maybe a Wednesday, so hopefully it's after the weekly release. At least I'll propose that, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
I'll put it all in an issue, and you can add some extra comments if, like, sanity check that I've found a good time.
Cool.
Okay, sorry about that. Michaela, you're next.
Yeah. So since last time, I got onboarded into the group. So I got the opportunity to get secrets and get access to the machines. Other than that, I started following discussion inside the IRC. I wasn't using it, so I set up everything so I can follow the discussion there. Just keep an eye on the issue. Unfortunately, I haven't been that active. I plan to be more in the next 3 weeks. And I also would like to take more on the support side. So now that I have access to machine, do some maintenance and more stuff like that. Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Kyle?
sounds good. Yep. Johan's not here. He said he would update later on, though. But so Kyle, Kuna, probably it'd be good to separate those you two out just as what's going on. So Kyle.
So I'm trying to set aside some time to just go through issues every week. I just had a busy week last week, so probably on Thursday I'm going to try and just see if there's any issues I can take on and start contributing. That's.
Okay. If you don't find anything, sort of let one of us know, and one of the rest of us know, and we'll see if we can figure out if there's anything to point you at.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kunal.
So yeah, I was I'm working on porting the test V8 to Windows. So we already have we already do run unit tests for V8 for Ubuntu. So I'm just manually doing all that thing for Windows and just trying to make sure that all of them passes. And apparently there are 7 test failures that I have updated in one of the issue. I don't know if it is in build repo. But again, it's not blocking me. I should be able to finish up changes in the VC build.bat that are needed for that and send out a PR soon.
So those actual failures in V8, like in
Yes.
the V8 tests.
Yes.
So I think I agree it shouldn't necessarily block what you're doing, but at some point you probably want to open issues in the Node repo if you think they're real failures, right?
Yes, sure. Yeah, I offer. Yeah, Ali has he already asked me about the log, and at that time I didn't have. So I'm just waiting for his inputs, if they are known or what should be done, or should it be tracked through V8 issue tracker or something like that. But I'll take action when I hear from.
I guess the other thing we probably also want to figure out is today there's only the single Linux job. Are you adding it as another target to that job, or is it a separate job?
I mean, we can add as a additional configuration or additional job as part of that parent job, right? Which will do the test V8 part,
Okay.
Ubuntu and Windows. So.
Okay, good. So it'll just do. I just wanted to make sure we didn't need to set up another parent job, but if you can add it under the existing parent.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, I just I'm not sure if it falls under the build, but there was this CI job for benchmarking for Node Chakrakura. I was configuring that, and I need to install Clang on that machine. So Joe pointed me that I can just use a setup step that we do for Chakrakura Linux builds. So I will just try to update that job to make it work.
Right, now to get access to the build machine. So you're saying there's already an Ansible template that does the right setup for Ubuntu and what you need on the Chakra machine?
I think there is just a setup step. I don't know if it is through Ansible, but it's part of the job itself that does like, okay, this is the setup. So as part of setup, like install Clang and then run this, like whatever I want to run. And Joe, you
Okay,
can
does it
add
install
even
Clang globally?
No, it's actually part of the script in Jenkins, because I wanted to keep Clang out of the Ansible script, so that Clang is not installed in the machine for everything that runs on it. So in Jenkins, in the build step, it downloads binary release of Clang and uses that.
Okay, and so it installs it in a way that only affects that test, not the whole
That test
machine.
job, yes.
Okay, right. So yeah, understood. So Kunal should be able to replicate that in the build job, and yeah,
right.
no problem.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep, that's it from me.
Okay.
Just a suggestion, Kunal. If you need any support, I remember that at the Collaborator Summit, there was Franziska from the V8 team that was giving advice on how to go on with the test on Windows. So if you're stuck somewhere, I suggest you to just cite her on the comments, and you might receive support.
Okay.
If you need anything.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's everybody who's here, right? In terms of moving on to our agenda items, so the only one that we've just added to the agenda item is update Clang on FreeBSD 10, issue number 723. Let me just open that. Somebody mentioned that it should be on the agenda. Does whoever mentioned that want to sort of lead the discussion on that?
Sure. I just noticed that this has been open for some time, and Joan wanted to get to it, but apparently he has not been able to so far. And we just got pinged about it on IRC, so I think it's becoming urgent for the V8 maintenance. So if someone wants to get some experience on FreeBSD and Ansible and wants to take that one, that would be great.
So Kyle, you said you were looking for something. Is that something you might grab?
Yeah, I can take a look at this one. I'll have to see what it what it entails in terms of access and stuff. But I can take a look at it.
So is this
Right.
like update needed on like the Jenkins machines or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
this is the FreeBSD machines that are connected to Jenkins.
Okay.
And I don't have much FreeBSD experience, but if I'm not wrong, then this should be only update Ansible scripts to make sure that the newer version of Clang is installed. Maybe test it locally, and then take one of the machines, the FreeBSD machines, out of CI one at a time and update them. And make sure that everything is working again after you're done.
But like Kyle won't
Yeah, I
have
may not
access
have
to the
access to the necessary access for
Right. So you haven't been onboarded to the work group
right.
yet, right?
So
Yeah,
But,
okay.
but doing the PR should be fine, right? Like if you
Yes.
pasted a link to a similar one that Targos raised for Ubuntu, it
Yeah.
should be a question of updating those scripts again, like there's the old ones and the new ones. And then
Okay.
if you can test them, I mean, assuming it's possible to test locally, or we could maybe set up a temporary machine, actually running the script should be just a question of someone clicking a button after you're done.
right.
Okay. Yeah, I can take a look at it then.
Yeah, sounds good. And I guess like Gibson was saying, if you need a machine to be able to do the testing on, maybe post that in the issue. Like if you can find one locally or on your own, that's great. If you can't, then maybe post an issue that you can move forward, but you need that, and that's one of the rest of us could look at spinning one of those up.
Okay. Yeah, one issue, actually, Kamal reminded me, one issue I ran into that I opened up an issue in just the regular Node repo is local builds using VC build on Windows. If you have VS 2017 and 2015 installed, there's the test build, the test add-on builds fail. I had Refax looking at it, but I was going to ping him this week and see if there was any update. I've just been working around it for the moment, though.
Okay. So that there is an issue open in the build repo for that?
It's actually open in the main repo. I can move one. I didn't know at that point where it went, because it
I
actually
guess
looks
it's
like a Node GIF.
because it's probably to do with the configuration of like Node.js or VC build that.
It is Node GUIP. Like there was it looks like he actually fixed a bug that on my machine was never detecting VS 2017 before for Node GUIP. And so then when it started, it just crosses the stream. So
I thought I saw a comment from Refax saying that our VS 2017 support actually just pretends that it's VS 2015
okay.
somewhere.
I can take a look.
Yeah, anyway.
But yeah, it does sound like it should be in the main repo.
Yeah.
I guess the only question is maybe we should have a machine that has both on it.
Yeah.
Which would then catch that going forward.
Right. Yeah, because there were like a couple of issues that were open and fixed in last few weeks, I guess, that are related to like multiple versions of VS installed.
So what? Maybe if you had, is it like one machine that has all of them installed?
At least
otherwise you get to a large number of combinations, right?
No, I mean like this was like VS 2015 and 2017. That's the
yeah.
most of the issues I saw.
The problem with the problem rant that the specifics of this problem are essentially you're trying to build Node using VS 2015, which is still the default, but while in the VS 2015 environment, it tries to kick off the add-on builds in VS 2017 and then fails because it can't find the right compiler tools because it's looking for a specific version. So it's kind of a specific circumstance, but I think the reason we aren't seeing it in CI is because I assume every machine just has one version of VS installed on it.
I expect
yes.
So yeah.
This is something I have queued up to look at as well.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the workaround for us has just been to use the VS 2017 flag, and then everything happens in VS 2017 and seems to work fine. And then we have the CI to validate 2015. But yeah, just wanted to mention it.
So Joe, it sounds like you're going to take a look.
Yeah, I will. I remember when we had 2013 and 2015, it worked out well. Yeah, I'll take a look at this.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
You think we need a machine with both? And yeah, I think you've added a bunch of Windows machines already, right?
I'm not sure it's worth adding a machine with both Visual Studios installed just to test this, because this is only an issue on the developer side. We already test the native models when Node is compiled with one and compiling the native models on another one. So I think we're covered in terms of CI. This is just a very specific edge case.
Okay, so I guess I was suggesting once you take a look, you can suggest what you think we need. Sounds like most likely you don't think we need a machine, but
No. I think this might just be a matter of insulating the environment that is used to compile the add-ons. I'll take a better look.
Okay. Okay, any other issues we should talk about? Okay, I'll take the silence as a no. So let's move on to questions. I see that we've been hovering from anywhere from 4 to 8 viewers. So let's see if anybody on the viewers wants to ask a question either in the issue in GitHub or in the IRC build channel. So I don't know if anybody has access to the IRC build channel right now.
Yeah, I'm there, and there are no questions at the moment.
Okay, so we'll give people 1 or 2 minutes to either post them in there or in the build IRC channel. I don't see any yet in the issue itself, but we'll wait till 16:25.
Actually, while we're waiting, I did have one kind of thing that occurred to me. Obviously, there's some problems like with the CI release and CI test. All of our scripts are just stored in Jenkins. If it were possible to move them into either Node Build or a repo where they can be managed and have pull requests, would there be any security issues with that, specifically for CI release? Is there anything in that code that's like?
I don't think there's anything secret in build scripts. Some of there are on those machines, there's definitely some sensitive stuff. The scripts themselves, I think the main concern would be making sure nobody could change them except for the, the people who should be able to change them. That's all.
Okay, I'll maybe put an issue up for that then.
Yeah, I mean, you might get Rod and Johann's input too, just to see if they can think of any other reason. But like from what I've seen, there's no magic there.
Yeah.
So the only thing sensitive on the machines is access and what you can run there. So as long as it's like only the right people can land the changes, I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, and I think most of it is already in the makefile.
Yeah, it's just kind of like some configuration at the beginning, right? But if you could have, with Jenkins 2, you can have like a Jenkins file that in theory would just have all of the stuff that's in the config XML,
we have XML, and it would be great to have a better way to review changes there, even. But
exactly.
I think we have discussed this before, but there's really no great way of reviewing changes in the XML and then deploying them to Jenkins. And but it's certainly something that would be great to have.
Cool. Okay, I'll have a look into it then.
I know the thing we do have in the release, in the test one, is at least we have the changes plugin or something that lets you easily revert changes. I don't know if we have that in the release one.
I think that's in the release. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's the same at least. Yeah, I know definitely. I do remember Johann talking about, how could we version control all that stuff. It's just, there's no obvious way. So if you can come up with a great way, I'm sure everybody would be happy. No
pressure. Okay.
No pressure. Well, just to say, if you can, happiness. Otherwise, we're just where we're at already. I'm doing a final check. No issue. No questions in the issue. Any questions in IRC?
No, not so far.
Okay, so I think we'll call it a day for this meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 11th of July at 4 Eastern. So we'll talk to you all there, if not before in GitHub.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Talk to you guys later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.